Nair.
Now we're live. All right. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome back to Reach Out Reptiles. My name is Garrett Hartle, and we are really excited to have you guys live here for Talk 'em Up Tuesday. So I have, sitting over here, this floating head on my desk in the corner, Mr. Brian Grable. How you doing, Brian?
How's it going? Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. So part of the reason why I wanted to jump on here and do live is so we can actually get some feedback from you guys as we go through, because I think I met Brian most recently, anyways, at Tinley Park, and he ended up picking up a couple of Super Dwarves from the booth display there and everything. So that was pretty cool. And I wanted to, I chatted with him a little bit. You were telling me the story how you're opening a reptile specialty shop, right?
That is correct.
And so I asked him like, wow, brick and mortar kind of deal, because you really don't hear about that too much anymore. I mean, I think everybody has their so-and-so exotics, you know what I mean, or so-and-so reptiles or whatever, but it's really just what we put on our business card as we sell pets from home, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's I guess I'm looking to change that a little bit. I still want to do that because I like the internet. I mean, I like the be able to network with everybody, but having a local store that someone could come in and actually get quality, quality reptiles, quality, even some of the supplies, that would be, that we all use, rather than going to these big box stores and getting stuff that, that we generally try to stay away from. I wanted to be able to introduce people to the good stuff, and that it's that's why I'm trying to get this thing going.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that the other day. It was funny, like I ran out of heat packs. And I'm thinking, it wasn't like an emergency situation, but I was thinking, man, I wish somebody nearby just had some heat packs. Or what if I run out of bedding? If I go to a Petco or something like that, they're not going to have the kind of bedding that I use.
Right.
So it would be really cool to have a support system for like reptile breeders, and when you get the specialty store like that, I think that's a really cool thing. But I'm sure you can relate to me in this, Brian, but I don't know about you guys out there in YouTube land. How many of you guys have ever had the idea or the dream, or maybe it was just a crazy pipe dream, of opening your own reptile shop or pet store? I think that's something that a lot of us have gotten into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all start off with something small, and then we really start getting into this, and then we all have this dream of, hey, I think can I make this happen? What would it take to make this happen? And it's passion, and as everybody gets these reptiles or whatever it is, whether it's a snake, whether it's a lizard, the first thing everybody wants to show someone, they want to show their buddy it, and then they want to teach them about it and tell them about it, that it's not so weird, it's not so creepy. And having a place to do this, a store, a place to bring people together, is kind of what we're looking to do. So I think it's going to be a little bit different than going to one of these big buck stores. Our caging is going to look different. Our what we're doing is going to be a little bit different. It's just going to be, I want to break that mold of the big box store and bring it back close to how it used to be when a lot of us grew up, when there were these mom and pop stores and the guy inside there knew everything about everything. But I just want to hear, we're not going to sell hamsters, we're going to sell just reptiles.
Just reptiles, yeah. And for me, I mean, being able to specifically focus on dwarf and super dwarf retics has allowed me to really look at them a little differently and learn a lot in a short period of time. Even though I've been working with them for a long time, it's amazing when you just take everything off of your plate and you focus on one thing. How are we doing? You guys on there? Say hey, say what's up.
Yep, we got a bunch of people saying hi. Lots of people having.
Hi, bunch of people. What's up? Hi, everyone. So thank you guys for joining in. So let's get into this a little bit. Help me grill Brian here. And Ashley's holding the camera for us. She's going to actually be watching your guys' comments because I'm hands-free for this session. And so when you guys get some good questions in there, Ashley's going to jump on and ask those for us so that we can get into it. But I wanted to start, Brian, if it's all right with you. What made you, I think a lot of us did have this idea or this dream. At what point, or what was the trigger point or the the springboard or whatever for you actually wanting to make this a reality?
I think the big thing was, you know, first you want to get into breeding, and you're like, okay, I want to start breeding. So you buy a bunch of racks, and then you go and you buy the small tub systems, like, and then next thing you know, you buy, you find whoever whoever you like cating with. In my case, I bought a big breeder rack, and then I bought another CB70 rack, and then I bought in between. And then I was like, well, now my house is getting, I'm taking over my house with this stuff. And every room's got something different in it, whether it be a lizard or a quarantine area because you got snakes from somebody else, and then I started thinking, I was, I'm not passionate about this. I have this many animals. I enjoy breeding. I want to do this. Why do I have to try to sell this on the internet? My other job, or what my main job is, I work in IT, so I can build me a website. I can have, I have some web experience. It's not my area of expertise, but and I do have a website that's half built.
I actually saw it. I was going to say your website looks really good. There's nothing on it, but it looks great. The platform is there.
A lot of it's still in filler. The filler places are done in Latin, are still sitting in Latin because I just don't feel like doing it. And it's like, why, that isn't the only way to do it. And an opportunity came to me for relatively cheap rent, which it's relative to where you live. I guess I live in New Jersey, so everything's overpriced.
Yeah.
But and
you're right there in Jersey Shore area, right? Like real close to the border.
Where we're looking it's in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. So I guess Sandy Hook is a good place if you were trying to Google it.
Okay.
It's pretty close to there. But I started thinking, I'm like, why can't I bring all this, get it out of my house, one, but and start doing and be able to bring like scouts, bring in like presentations. I mean, anybody can go to New Jersey's a weird state with how you're allowed to. If you do presentations, it's a no-touch state, so you can't bring a reptile to a school and have the kids touch it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, here's a snake, but don't touch it. But if you bring people in, it changes the dynamic a little bit.
Really? So if you have a pet shop and people are coming to your pet shop, then they are allowed to get hands-on with the animals? Right now I'm still dealing with the state, which is one of the hurdles I'm going through right now. Okay.
I'm still trying to get a clear answer on that, but I definitely know it's a gray area rather than the other one is a definite no.
Well, because you would have, it makes sense that it would be a gray area because you're not allowed to do it during presentations, but I assume you are allowed to have people handle reptiles in a pet shop, right?
Say if you wanted to buy a snake, you have to be able to handle it first, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It just happens to be there's a lot of people at one time that may want to buy that one snake.
That's very cool. Well, the biggest thing that I'm excited about the way you're doing is it seems like you're really pushing for, I think a lot of us who are like private breeders and stuff think of pet shops as almost like glorified, centrally located flippers or jobbers or someone who's buying a bunch of stuff up off a wholesale list as cheap as they can, marking them up and selling them off to people, and you a lot of times you see like subpar care in pet shops and things like that, and so they have a little bit of a bad reputation. But I think if you had someone, especially with a reptile specialty shop, that was really all about it, specializing in maybe you have a few like nice animals that people can kind of aspire to own, but then you're really working with these what's a good first reptile pet type of animals, that pet store can become a platform just like Morph Market or kingsnake.com used to be or something, where breeders can work with you to deliver both good information and good animals to your area that your platform reaches.
Absolutely. I mean, most people who see for example, who see a piebald ball python, they love them, right? They're the coolest thing. They're relatively inexpensive in today's market.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to offer something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a normal, right? People may just want a normal, but if you can offer you know, something that someone who's into reptiles and may be able to come into your shop and purchase something a little more upscale or a little more
Yeah.
exotic, but a little more high end, then I want to be able to cater to that person. I want to be able to cater to someone coming in just looking for, hey, I'm just looking for a pet snake, but I don't want, I don't just want a normal, but you can get them into something like a little bit, next high end up that isn't over the top expensive.
Sure.
That you're not going to find at these big box stores, or if they are, they're calling them fancy.
Yeah.
They don't even,
Yeah.
they,
Right. Exactly.
And I know the care that's been given to these animals, so I can explain to them. I know their quirks. You know what I mean? Hey, this one doesn't eat good, but it'll eat live only, or which we all want to get them to frozen thawed if we can. But I mean, that's where I want to be able to. I want to be able to know the animal, hand it off to this person, and be able to say, listen, you have a quality animal. You know where it came from, and I'm going to stand by it. And on the other side, be able to build a relationship with people in the industry that for years I've been emailing, calling. I mean, someone like you that, when I reached out to and has gotten back to me any questions that I've ever had, and be able to bring those animals into the shop as well. Because I'm certainly not, at this point, I don't have enough to produce to probably maintain what I need. But if I can, which I know is, I don't want to just bring in animals in bulk. I want to bring in quality animals from where I know where they're coming from.
Sure.
And know what they are. And I just think that it breaks the mold a little bit. And it's in a store. And for my area, there's nothing like this here.
That's
and
real.
I think there's, yes, the profit's not a dirty word, of course, but I mean, my passion is to do this, is to be able to bring people to this and get rid of that negative stigma attached to, reptiles, whatever it is that you're interested in.
Well, and I think if you are able to provide an experience for somebody, let's say the only place, if you're up in Jersey Shore and you want to go get a ball python, maybe you're looking on Craigslist, or you're having something shipped to you from far away from someone you don't know. If you can compete with that and yet provide them an experience where they can come in, pick your brain, browse a little bit, see some stuff, touch some stuff, and kind of really exercise their options, I mean, you should be financially rewarded for that. I mean, any one of us that enjoys that kind of experience should be paying into the pockets of the people that we enjoy the way they're doing things, right? So
Absolutely.
All right, we have some questions here, and people are feeling ignored.
don't feel ignored. We love you guys. We're just so excited to talk to each other now.
All right, Joseph Wetterstrom, I hope I said that right. How did you get the financial income to achieve the dream of making this a reality? So I don't know if we're there yet, but how are you building towards that?
Okay, so
Startup capital.
Yeah, I mean, so this did not come easy. So I'm relatively fortunate enough that I'm a little bit older. I'm in my 40s, so I've had a little bit of time to put a little bit of money away. But I mean, it's not easy going to a bank. I can tell you that if you go to a bank and say, hey, I'm this new company, and you know what, tell me your new company and your breeding company, you want to breed snakes, and they have no idea what to do with you. And trust me,
I know that story.
They have no idea. You try to promise them, and they want to forecast like any business model. So I came up with this big business model. I drew it up. It was multiple pages, and I gave it to them, and they said, that sounds great, but we're still very scared about it. So I mean,
you haven't ever done anything. So how can you prove that you're able to make what you think you will?
Yeah, I mean, I when you try to be somewhat sarcastic to them, yeah, I want to make $1 million the first time. But I mean, if that was the case, I mean, that's what everybody wants to do. So
Right.
I mean, to get the working capital, to answer the question, I mean, I took some money from my 401k. I did things that I wasn't, they probably say don't do. Is I took a home equity loan, which so I'm putting my house a little bit, out there, which is, as far as any financial advisor will tell you, that's the dumbest thing you can do.
So you're all in.
Yeah, I mean, this is it for me. I mean, this is no joke. This is this is my dream. This is my, I have another job, but I don't want to do it forever. So I mean, I would love to be able to. There's a couple friends I have that are interested in this and help me out, and listen to me every single day about this, drone on about my dream. But I mean, it's, for the most part, I'm all in. This is, so I mean, my working capital has pretty much come from any money that I've socked away, which is very little. I have a loan from, I take a loan on my 401k, and I have a home equity loan. And of course, the little plastic cards don't hurt, but I try to use my credit cards just for me personally. I try to use them only for what I need right now, as in for like, a couple animals I bought, like a Tinley, for example. I use but I mean, I try not to use credit cards. So I mean, I'm trying to use only what and I'm taking it slow. So
just let it grow organically over time.
I'm not like, I know I would love to buy a rack that holds, a bunch of racks and a bunch of tubs and fill the store. But I know realistically I don't need to do that. I can keep it small and keep, and just, kind of corral people to where the stuff is. And then as we make money, we'll buy more stuff. It's a slow process.
Okay. Very cool.
Question.
Yeah. What do we got?
There's so many people on. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I cannot say everybody.
We love you guys. Let's get into it.
Herper's Hollow Road. So what type of setup is he thinking of for his store? And I'm guessing like...
So we actually have, I can answer this one for you a little bit. You have...
For him?
It looks, well, I mean, you actually sent me plans for the shop. So you're looking at pretty small little place. What's the overall dimensions of it?
If I was, it's got to be just under 1,000 square feet.
Okay, so it's like 1,000 square foot brick. You have one wall with a bunch of retail stuff. You have a few center aisles, which are going to have kind of like, almost like you were thinking at one point, maybe rack systems or something.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this place is that it used to be a dance studio, and it's set up to pretty much keep the parents away from the kids. So it's a giant square, and then another square like right inside of it, like 4 feet in. So the actual dance studio area is where we would have most of our racks and everything.
Okay.
So so that's kind of what it would be. Like I'd probably have, I kind of envision, you have to satisfy the local municipality with a drawing. So that's pretty much what I sent you. Which part of it's nonsense, part of it is exactly what I was thinking. But so I mean, as for the caging and specifically what I'm looking to do for, I still haven't decided, and I'm being slowed down a little bit, which my brain works very, very fast, and the municipality is slowing me down a little bit. The state is slowing me down a little bit, but daily I change my caging ideas. Right now, I was talking to Garrett the other day, and I'm kind of thinking about getting, maybe considering like getting, I use ARS racks or the Freedom Breeder racks, the smaller, the hatchling racks.
Yeah.
Maybe getting a couple of those, knocking them down because they're pretty much at a level, and then only having them maybe 4 feet high, and then building a wood enclosure around it, that looks like I'm gonna try.
So it's almost like the way you were explaining to me, it's almost like a back room feel in the retail area.
Yeah, and and so the how we see our tubs and stuff is going to be covered, and then maybe throw a bunch of 10-gallon tanks on top of them, turn them lengthways on top. Actually, that would be 50 inches, I think. If so, you'd be able to put 10 and have whatever you wanted to make them nice looking cages up top. But if someone's looking for something other than that ball python or that corn snake or that king snake, you have a whole rack system underneath it that's cut in half. That you have, I'm not smart enough to do the math, but like you have 20, 4 or 5 racks. You have 20, 25 that are sitting right underneath.
So they have a king snake on display and then a bunch in the racks down below.
Yeah,
I like it.
I know what I'm thinking. It's a little different, a little thinking out of the box. But I mean, I just don't want, because I looked at these big box stores, and all they are is 10-gallon tanks turned sideways with a locking mechanism on the front of it that just stops people from getting in it, and it's nothing fancy. And this is probably, looking into that stuff, it's probably a little more expensive.
Yeah, agreed. We got a couple more.
Yeah, Brian Cusco, man. Hi, Brian. We're not ignoring you. It's not your show, though. It's not your live.
Yeah, get on your own live.
There's so many, babe.
Pick some good ones. Give us some good ones.
Somebody, Serenity Serpents. At what point in the beginning did you feel comfortable with money, where it wasn't a worry anymore, and you knew it was stable? I don't know about.
Are you at that point?
Yeah, I don't know if he's there yet.
Or is this still a bit of a gamble for you right now?
I think it's always going to be a gamble,
Yeah.
because at any point, no matter what business you're in, it could just turn on you. I mean, right now, I'm driven, so like most of us are. If you're driven in any business, I think you can make money. It's just a matter of how you market yourself. And the big thing is, if you're not failing, if you're not succeeding 100%, doesn't mean you're failing. You just need to pull back a little bit, rethink, and kind of go a different route. And I think that's what's going to be big when we even get into the store. It may not work. We may have to do presentations. We may need to open to the public. What we're doing may not be working. Maybe we're holding too much inventory. Maybe not enough. I mean, we're not going to know.
Yeah.
But as for feeling comfortable, I'm nervous.
Well, to help maybe, I don't know if this would make you feel better, but you're in good company. At least it's exactly the same with me. I mean, I've been doing this. I quit my job over a year ago now. But every time I go to write myself a paycheck, I'm like, oh, look, it worked. I did one more. And it's kind of always like the grand experiment. How long can I keep this up? What else do we have?
All right. I have to say hi, Jacqueline. With
Hi,
the new
Jack.
baby.
We love the new babies.
Let me think. Hold on. Sorry.
Now,
How do
guys,
you wait? How do you plan? J Blue Eyes. How do you plan on combining the brick and mortar and online businesses, or would you have certain reptiles for brick and mortar, or only etc. etc.
So I guess, how will the store reflect the website? In other words, are you going to do a lot of online sales as well?
I'm going to keep them together. If we have, I would like to, the retail store is going to is going to hopefully be able to fit all our stuff in it. So if we sell something online, then we'll pull from the store. So
Cool.
Hopefully they'll be combined. The shopping cart the cart, and this is where I benefit a little bit by having working in IT. That I have some. I tend to surround myself around smarter people than myself. So I'll have people
Not
help
today.
with that. I don't know about that. But it's going to be. We're going to try to keep them in sync. That's my plan. I don't
like
want to
it.
keep two separate entities.
That sounds like a lot of work, but cool. If you could pull it off, that'd be great. Yeah.
Are you gonna end up opening multiple stores if it works?
Before I'd probably open a second, I'd probably move to a bigger location.
Okay. So try to build it up to a certain point, and then, the question of scalability, I think, is a really awesome one, because it's not what can you run, it's what kind of systems can you create that can run themselves in a good way to where you can continue multiplying them. So that's actually like a really good thought to probably have in your head as you go along, because you got to start something, and then you got to figure out how to scale it.
What was the hardest part of opening a storefront? Like license, rent, or owning the building, the startup capital?
What was the biggest obstacle, the biggest one out of everything altogether?
To be honest with you, it's the local municipality. It's the bureaucratic nonsense that goes along with which I'm still fighting, which I think I'm going to make it through. But it's hey, I want to open a reptile store, and they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, it's just a pet store. Getting insurance for it too is tough too, because telling a insurance company that you want to open a reptile store just for liability insurance is tough. I had people that would insure me, but I can only have a snake. I had one that would only insure me if I had them under a foot. And I said, oh,
Wow.
they come out bigger than a foot, like the smallest snakes. So they didn't wear a match. So so I would say your local municipality is always going to be a problem. Some landlords just are not interested. They're afraid of snakes, just like the rest. A lot of the public, they're afraid of reptiles, and that is the. I just happened to drive by when I was texting you yesterday, Garrett, and I spoke with a landlord, and they're like, "Well, we're not so sure about having reptiles in our area," and it was just a strip mall.
Yeah.
Because they break out at night and they slither around to other stores and then they go back.
You know what you need to do is call it a frog and turtle boutique. Then everyone will let you jump in there. You can say, yeah, I could sell, like, I'll have some live turtles, some live frogs, sell some coffee mugs with them on them, and cute memorabilia. Then you can open it and just run wild from there.
That's right.
Okay. We're running out of battery. So that one was from John Feely. Sorry, John. Thank you for that question.
Good question,
All right, Richard Yingling. With so many insanely expensive
Richard?
snakes out there, do you think it's viable to live off of snake breeding if you're starting from the bottom with so many new Morris breeders each year? Well, that's kind of a heavy question.
So, I'm not quite understanding the question. Is it viable to live off of breeding?
Snake
like,
breeding.
From your perspective, John. Well, if I understand that correctly.
Richard. That was Richard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Richard Yingling. If I understand the question correctly, that might be one more for me. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. I don't sell supplies. I don't sell any of that stuff. I breed and sell dwarf and super dwarf articulated pythons. And what I've done is just completely invest my whole self into that market. Obviously, those of you who are watching know that I'm trying to build the market as well as, put stuff into it, invest in it. And like I said before, the grand experiment so far, we're a year and running, right? And, do I need to go back to work next year? Maybe. Can I continue breeding these and pushing the envelope by dedicating my time to it? Maybe. I think the pet shop idea gives you a little bit more of like a bread and butter on the side. So, like right now, it's a tough season for Reach Out Reptiles because there's not a lot of babies hatching at the moment. But you could still sell bedding. You're still going to sell light bulbs and things like that. So the bread and butter side of the pet store probably balances it out.
All right.
And guys, if your question doesn't get answered on this, Brian's going to jump right on the comments later, right? And answer those as you go along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give him a homework assignment.
All right,
so-
let's do a couple more, and then
Okay.
we'll have to. Herper's Hollow Road wants to let us know when you guys open the store so you can come see it.
Okay, so what we're actually going to do, Brian and I talked about this already. I think I'm actually going to go out there, so it's not too far from Pittsburgh, and give you guys a tour after the grand opening. Is that cool? Are you guys down with that?
sounds
Sounds
good.
fun to you, right?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you can kind of see some of these ideas take fruition.
All right, Scott Ruber, how will keep prices low enough to compete with online sites and keep yourself in business and fed?
That's
Well-
a tricky one, yeah. Keeping prices low to compete with online sites.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. We can go with, it's tough. I mean, remember when online sites, you're always going to pay for it. I mean, if we're talking supplies, a lot of wholesale places, I've contacted a few. You're really not going to make money off the supplies. You're going to make money off you'll make a couple dollars, but I mean, I think really where the money's going to be made is going to be on, for us, it's going to be presentations, and it's also going to be made on, on the animal itself. You can go to another reputable breeder to get the same snake, but you're going to be able to look, feel, touch, and you're not going to pay shipping. And you're also going to have a place to come back to if there's a problem. If you're having a problem with the shedding, if there's a husbandry issue, if there's anything, you come back to us and we'll help you out. I mean, I do that now, and I'm sure you do the same.
I think feeders is a big one for pet shops too, because you have people that need to go get feeders in their area.
And that's definitely a problem and I'm sure it's a problem. I mean, I ordered, my rodent bill is ridiculous every 2 months. It's the part that kills me. Everybody thinks that, we're going to breed whatever you're going to breed, and it's not bad when you have 2, but when you have 100, it's,
Different story.
it's expensive. So I mean, I can sell that kind of stuff and have a little bit of a markup on it, and it's not going to be the stuff that they're getting in these big box stores that's kind of questionable, that comes in a fancy box with their name on it.
Right.
You know.
Yep. Yeah.
And then have this last question, a few of them. One of them, Lori Johnson. Are you going to have more than snakes?
More than snakes? I think it's reptile. Is it reptiles, amphibians, invertebrates, or what are you thinking for now?
Yeah. We are definitely going to do geckos. We're gonna do a couple different. I think we're gonna start off with we're gonna do ball pythons, corn snakes. We just started getting into king snakes, but we're going to do geckos. I'm really interested in gargoyle geckos. I'm regretting still not purchasing a couple at Tinley, but there's always March, or I can make a phone call and get a couple in. But yeah, leopard geckos, crested geckos. We do have a tricolor tegu, which I don't have any intentions of breeding. He's kind of our ambassador because he's like a giant. He's like a giant
That's
puppy.
cool. Yeah, big mascot.
Yeah, so he's our. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna anything. So there's gonna be a couple things we're gonna carry.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, I think that's probably about as much time as we have for right now. But what we're going to do is we'll get Brian back on here again, and we'll do a follow-up episode. If you guys have questions, more questions, I mean, I answer every comment that is ever made on these videos. So go ahead and comment down below, and then make sure you subscribe so that you'll be able to catch Brian on the other side of it and kind of see how reality stacks up to the anticipation. Does that sound cool?
Excellent.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Brian, for coming on. Thank you guys for tuning in, whether it's on your lunch break or you had to run outside or whatever the case may be. We really appreciate you guys. And yeah, thanks again for just sharing some of the background on all this kind of stuff for those of us who've been wondering, Oh,
yeah, thank you for having me. It paused for a second.
There you go.
Thank
We got
you
you.
very much for having me. And it was any questions you have, please send out. It's I guess what is my YouTube channel? It's if you want to send out, it's BKG Reptiles. I think it's LLC. I think we're the only ones out there. Or you can contact me at info@bkgreptiles.com.
Okay, and the link to his website is actually going to be in the description below if you want to jump on and read a bunch of what is it, Latin on the website and stuff like that. So yeah, but the website is up and coming if you guys want to kind of follow along and see how the website tracks with the opening of this store. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you back on Friday for your free tip.